Well, welcome everyone. It is good to have you here today. Good to see all these faces. I love you guys. You know, this is my dream job, and I feel like I hit the floor running every day because I'm so excited about everything that is happening here at Unity. So I just want to thank you for being here and being part of that joy of this place. Thank you. So we've been going into the 12 powers. We have been going deep into the 12 powers, and so today is kind of a 12 powers review, kind of a look back at them. Well, in the beginning was the Word, and that very Word was with God, and God was that Word. This used to confuse me when I was younger, or even just a few years ago, but God is the substance of all things. That's what we want to remember. That's what helps us, is to remember that God is all that has ever been, all that is here now, and all that will ever be. So God is the substance of all things. The words, in the beginning was the Word. The Word is the activity of Spirit, declaring itself into manifestation, into the physical world. That is Spirit. Let there be light. Let there be light is a directive to create. So the source of all things provides the substance of what we see in here. Okay, it provides the substance of all things, but it's also the directive, that the impulse of that to become something. So it's the substance of everything, but also is the force that encourages that very thing to become into being. So there's a quality of God that we call substance, the original substance of all things, that becomes a quantum field, that becomes atoms and molecules, that becomes things like solar systems and planets and life on a planet. That's how things are created. But they're also created through us. We are also an emanation of that energy. And because we are created in the image and likeness of our Creator, we create as our Creator. So the Creator creates in the whole, and we create in our life. This is how things like churches and pianos and benches are created, through the mind of humankind. It's through the power of our word, guided by an intention. So we declare something into being. Now we declare big things into being. We declare small things into being. We declare things by consciously thinking about it. We also declare things into being that we're not thinking about, right? We're unconscious, the unconscious thoughts. So we have a lot of moments where we're creating, because we're creating all the time. But our let there be light, our own personal let there be light, that is about the goodness that we want to create in our own life. Okay, whatever that might be. Our let there be light, it could be focused on creating a harmonious space at home, a haven for peace and relaxation and learning and growth. Our let there be life could be about finding a dream job, making new friends, creating a community, because you know what? When life is hard, what helps us? Community with supportive friends who understand, like our way of thinking. Our tribe supports us. Our let there be light could be about creating more health and vitality. And all of this, all of our let there be lights are about creating heaven on earth. Friedrich Nietzsche said, the kingdom of heaven is a condition of the heart. It's not something that comes upon the earth or comes after death. It is actually how we're creating right here and right now, through the condition of our heart. Now this is because we make all of our choices based on the condition of our heart. That's why if we get up in the morning and say that there's been a neighbor's dog barking all night, so we keep waking up all night long, and then we get up and we're tired, and our favorite coffee mug is dirty, so we have to wash it. And then we can't get the towel off of the towel rack to dry our hands. Everything starts frustrating us, right? That comes from the condition of our heart, where our thinking is. Yet, if we get a really good night's sleep and we wake up and, washing our favorite coffee mug's not a big deal. Like, the day just feels a little easier. We're creating from the condition of our heart, right? No matter what we're experiencing. We can be frustrated, we can be peaceful, we're creating, no matter what. Now, we were actually born to create heaven on earth. There is a divine design about us. We are divine design. I mean, if we're a divine idea, we are divine in design. We are temples for divine expression to work through. But sometimes we forget. Like, I know when I'm in the kitchen and there's that towel, we have this towel. It has a little hole in the side of it, and it gets stuck on the little towel hanger. And I'll go to pull it off and to dry my hands. And that's how I know the condition of my heart every single time I use that towel. It's like, do I pull on it and start tugging on it and screaming how the universe hates me? Or do I just lift it off and without getting impatient, right? Like, the condition of our heart sets a tone. It really sets a tone. So sometimes we're forgetting that we are a divine idea and divine design created to create heaven on earth. Luckily, we have been given certain attributes. We have within us these 12 powers, and we have access to them already. Access to the 12 powers, and when we utilize these 12 powers, pay attention to the 12 powers, our life is a little more joyful, and it's a little easier, and we have more clarity. So the 12 powers, that's a gift to us here and now in this physical body from our soul. Okay, we have the 12 powers to get us back on course. Charles Fillmore, he wrote the book, The 12 Powers of Man, but he didn't discover the 12 powers. He just noticed them because they're through all the spiritual texts. I mean, any spiritual text you can think of will talk about the importance of faith and the importance of watching our thoughts. But Charles Fillmore noticed this connection, and so he put them all into this book, The 12 Powers, which makes it easy for us to then access. But the 12 powers, we are already fully capable of acting on them. We don't have to become a guru of any kind. We don't have to meditate on a mountain for a few years. There's nothing that we have to do. Right now, just being a soul in a body is all it takes. And we have access to the 12 powers. The 12 powers help us do something called course correcting. That's all. Right? We know when we get off course on our spiritual path and in our life, because that's when we start feeling crummy. And so we get back on course and we start feeling better. And life is about learning to get back on course, or resuming on our spiritual path. And so just one bit of clarity before I go into the review of the 12 powers. Again, God is all things. God is all things. Everything that's ever been, everything we see right now, everything that is yet to be, every idea that is still 1,000 years in the future, all of it is God. That means we are also an emanation of God. We are the divine activity of God in this world. We are the heart, the hands, and the feet of spirit in this place. Okay, you are God in expression. I am God in expression. Okay, so that means you're part of that all, and that means me. Let's say that together. That means me. Do this with your hands. That means me. Okay, that means me. So the 12 powers help us to create that life of goodness, to live in all that goodness. The 12 powers help us with any let there be light that we could constantly, or that we could think of, right? I don't know constantly, but anything we could think of, okay? That let there be light. And for the purpose of this talk today, I'm just going to say a good let there be light for all of us will be health, loving relationships, and financial prosperity. Because if we're struggling, having health and vitality is always a good thing. Deeper relationships are always a good thing. And having financial prosperity helps us in this world. So it's still a good thing. It's like money, there's no issues with money. I know some people hear that, money's the root of all evil, but it's not. Money is energy. And money teaches us about our own energy. All right, so if we already have all these things, who wouldn't want more health and vitality? Who wouldn't want more deeper loving relationships or prosperity? Okay, so those are always good to ask for. Now, if we are struggling with health or relationships or prosperity, sometimes we think that's a challenge that we face. We face that challenge. I face that challenge. So we pray and we ask, we want God to step in. But we're not actually doing that. We think, oh, I face this challenge. But we're the activity of spirit in a body. What faces that challenge? Spirit. We are the activity of spirit in a body. Spirit is facing that with us. We are not on our own. We just forget we are. We forget. We think we're alone, but we are not. Spirit is always, like I love the song, Spirit is in this place, but Spirit is in this place. Spirit is this place. Spirit is this body. Spirit is that body. So health, wealth, loving relationships, we don't face that on our own. So the 12 powers, they help us when we forget. And we know we forget when we're feeling bad. That's how we know we've forgotten, that we're the activity of spirit. We feel bad. So the first of the 12 powers, faith. Faith is knowing without a doubt the truth of something yet to be. We have, all of us, experienced this already. If you throw a load of laundry into your washing machine, you know it's going to get clean. You know it. You don't start your laundry and then go sit in the living room and worry. Will it even clean? What if it doesn't put water in the washing machine? What if something weird goes into the washing machine? We don't give it another thought because we know. Now, for the activity of spirit and body, which we are, when we desire more vibrant health, deeper relationships, more prosperity in our lives, because we are the activity of spirit and a body, it's already being done in the idea, in the mind of God. It's already done in divine mind. Now we have to know that it will be here. So we just have that faith. We have faith and we know that it's coming. So when we think about the healing, the love, the prosperity, we know it's on its way. We know we are being prepared for that, to accept it, to receive it, because we are the divine activity of spirit and a body. The second of the 12 powers is strength. And strength is about our ability to focus on what we desire instead of focusing on the obstacle in the way of that desire. We think about the obstacles all the time because we walk in two worlds. We walk in the world of spirit, the world of prayer, where we can feel that the good things are coming to us, but then we look out here, we look into our life, and we think, wow, my knee's been bugging me. And I asked for healing, but I keep feeling all this pain, right? And I keep forgetting to call my friends. I'm a horrible friend. And I spent money on something I shouldn't have. We're focused on that problem. So strength helps us to take our focus off of poor health, unfulfilling relationships, and prosperity issues, and focus back on what it is we want to create. What is the grand desire? What is our let there be light? Let there be light. That is what we're supposed to be focusing on. Okay, we focus on what we want to experience, not the problem. The third of the 12 powers, wisdom. Wisdom is divine in nature, and it's about our ability to observe a situation and use our intuition to discern what is going on in this situation. What's for our highest good, what's not for our highest good. And that's what divine wisdom does for us. Now, in the book of James, there is the most wonderful description of divine wisdom. So we will always know if we are in a space of divine wisdom or just being judgmental and thinking we're divine wisdom, right? So this is how divine wisdom is described. It is divine in nature. It is pure. It is full of peace. It is gentle. It is obedient. It is filled with mercy and solutions. In divine wisdom, there's no judgment and there's no drama. No judgment, no drama. We know those feel bad. We know those just take away our peace of mind. When we are in the space of divine wisdom, we can view a situation. It won't be polluted with our idea of how we think things should be. It'll be peaceful. There will be no drama around what we're thinking about. It'll be gentle and kind. Okay, wisdom is not about blaming other people for things or trying to push our point of view on somebody else. That's divine wisdom. Okay, when we can just refrain from saying, I don't know why you did that, that's just crazy. Okay, that's not divine wisdom. All right, then we stay focused on solution. Divine wisdom is full of mercy, which means forgiveness. In wisdom, we are forgiving, because that's the only way we can be in divine wisdom. Forgiving, it's like, okay, I gotta let that go for my good. I let that go. I'm just gonna let that go, because I want to be focused on a solution, not the problem. We focus on our healing, our love, our prosperity. Now, if we're feeling judgment, drama, resentment, blame, we're not in divine wisdom. We're seeing our life experience through limitation and lack. That's how we're looking at our life. So we go back to thinking about faith. Faith, okay, I know that it will be done. I know it will be done because I'm the activity of spirit in a body. And I will have the strength and just focus on what I want to create. I'm going to stop focusing on these problems that I keep thinking of. So we can allow wisdom into our life. The fourth of the 12 powers is love. And I'm not talking about I love ice cream or my grandkids. Even though those feel like big love, divine love is big cosmic love. Love with a gigantic capital L, okay? It is a sweep whose force is irresistible. Okay, it is cosmic. It is the activity of spirit giving itself to us. Okay, we think, yeah, okay, God is all things. It's everything, and we're part of that. But there's also a quality of God that is that substance giving itself to us. Make more life with this. Here's more. Here is more. That's what that love is. Love is radiating through us all the time, just like the sun in the sky is radiating out into the solar system all the time. All the time, there is that sunlight. So we use our strength to focus on that vitality, health, wealth, loving relationships. We focus on that. Big cosmic love now circulates itself through us as ideas and inspiration. And then in our choices, and then we're choosing things that honor our divine nature. And then it's the activity that comes after those choices. And then it's the new circumstances, the new opportunities, the new doors that are opening for us. It's the new experiences that are in alignment with vital health, loving relationships, and prosperity. Big cosmic love. Next we have power, the fifth of the 12 powers. Now power is about gaining mastery over this. Power is about mastery over our thoughts, mastery over our life. Knowing when we are thinking things that are not doing us any good. Knowing when we're focused again on the problem and redirecting. Okay, we just keep practicing. This is mastery. That way we're not reacting out of judgment. That way we're not in a space of resentment and blame. That way we don't get stuck in victim consciousness or martyr consciousness. Right? We have mastery. So this is about choosing. This is about our choices. To choose, even when life is hard, to focus on what it is we want to create. To remind ourselves, God is all things, everything that's ever been, everything that ever will be, and that means me. Okay, that is power, that is mastery. So we can act with wisdom, be receptive to receiving our highest good, make choices that honor ourselves and others, and we refuse to judge appearances, because that's the world of the problem. Instead, we go into the world through prayer, a solution. That's how we gain mastery. Power number 6, imagination. Charles Fillmore said, it is through the imagination that the formless takes form. Now, most everything in our life happens through our imagination. I got up this morning and I used my imagination when I stepped into my closet. Okay, that's why I'm not here in my pajamas right now. Okay, I used my imagination to dress myself. We plan out our afternoon. So you might leave here today and just through your imagination, you're going to think about your afternoon. You'll think about how you're going to drive from point A to point B. And you do that in your imagination. Like sometimes you might remember like road closures, that'll pop up and it's like, oh, I'm going to redirect myself. That came through your imagination. Now we imagine things that are good for us. Like we might imagine, ooh, if I gave up sugar, that could bring more health and vitality into my life. Maybe my joints would stop aching. I'd have a little more energy. Maybe we imagine a friend we haven't talked to in a long time and think about, ooh, if I were to call that friend, we could catch up, and I always love to talk to that person. But we also use our imagination for things that aren't so good for us. Okay, if we're running late and it's raining, we might, in our imagination, think, well, traffic's probably going to be horrible. And nobody knows how to drive in the rain. Everybody in California thinks, oh my gosh, this was a huge storm, right? Then our imagination takes us down that path. And even if it's an easy drive to work, or wherever we're going, we're still annoyed. We're still annoyed. We might use our imagination if we're around somebody who has a cold. And we think, oh great, now I'm going to get that cold too. Like I can imagine it. Is my throat getting a little sore? I think it is. Already, I think it is. I caught a cold one time from someone who had allergies. That was kind of embarrassing. Okay, so we use our imagination all the time for better or worse. Okay, healing, love, prosperity. How are we imagining that? How are we imagining our let there be light? Are we instead imagining all the problems that are in the way of that and all the reasons why it's not here yet? Or are we imagining that we are the activity of spirit and body, and I can see it, I can image it, I can feel it, I know it's coming, I know it's coming. Okay, how are we imagining? 7 of the 12 powers is understanding. This is how we put things together. Now, as a spiritual being, we can do this thing where we ask. We can ask a question of the universe. So we might ask, how do I get more health, love, prosperity in my life? So we can ask that question. Then what we can do is perceive our environment. We perceive the environment because that's where the answers will start coming from. Now, I asked myself a question not too long ago, and it was about just like how my knee was feeling. And I know knee is about direction. And I was thinking, where am I being resistant? Where am I being stubborn? I asked the question. And then a friend of mine told me how she had gotten this, a healing session called the Emotion Code from my friend Jeanette, who's like in the back. And then, so another thing is Jeanette texts me and she's like, I'll be there Sunday at 9:30. And so I'm like, okay. So there's number 2. And then Jeanette puts something on social media about her healing sessions, the Emotion Code. Okay, there's number 3. I perceived these 3 things in my environment, and I received the information, okay? This was a synchronicity. These 3 things were a synchronicity, so I put them together. I comprehended it. I was like, whoa, okay, texting Jeanette, I want to come see you for an emotions code session, which I did, and it was so amazing. Like, I'm so glad I did it. So, and it helped my knee too, so. This is what we do as a spiritual being. We ask, we perceive our environment because the universe speaks to us through all things. If all things are God, God is all things, that means the activity of spirit could potentially be like in everything in our environment. This is how synchronicities happen. So we perceive our environment, we receive the information, we put it together, we comprehend it, and then we take action on it. Now this is understanding. This is having understanding. We receive something and we can take action on it, and then that action changes the next thing that happens in our life. So understanding is very important. See, the more understanding we have about what's going on in our life, the more choices that we can make that bring us closer to our let there be light. Okay, so understanding. The 8th of the 12 powers, will. I still think Ernest Holmes described it in the best way that I've ever heard. He said, the creative power of the universe does not create through will, but through imagination. Imaging, feeling, knowing, which is having faith. To suppose that God must will things to happen would be to suppose that God had some opposing force to contend with. Now we think this because personal will is a struggle. Personal will is a struggle. We're trying to make things happen with personal will. Because when we're in personal will, we're forgetting what's facing that, what is actually facing that thing we see as an obstacle, the activity of spirit. So divine will is what allows us to surrender our need to do it our way, out of fear, thinking something's not going to work. Okay, we surrender. So imagination is the creative aspect of our let there be light. Will is the directive. It's the command behind our creative imagination. So we do not face that alone. So we want to surrender to divine will. Number 9 is order. It's all in divine order. We hear that? It's all in divine order. Order is our ability to balance, organize, put things in sequence. That's how we can, bake and stuff like that, right? Order is also what allows us to let something go. Order is what allows us to establish harmony in a step-by-step process. Now, we know we're feeling judgmental. We know that we're in a place of high drama because we're not feeling peace. So we know it's time to get back to a peaceful state. Order is what helps us course correct. Go back to faith. Go back to strength. Wisdom, love, power, imagination, understanding, will. Having divine order allows for more synchronicities. The 10th of the 12 powers is zeal. Zeal, Ellen, zeal. Our ability to be enthusiastic and passionate about creating in our lives. This is zeal. Zeal is what helps us get started on something. And zeal is what gives us motivation, okay, when our engine's kind of stalled out, right? We can get remotivated. Without enthusiasm, things can feel kind of hard. Without enthusiasm, things can feel kind of heavy and slow and sluggish. So zeal is what helps keep us going forward. Zeal is the quality of the all, okay, of the divine, that urges life to express. So it's urging us to go forward in our life, urging us to create a life. So we experience the desire for our life. We have an idea, we have an inspiration, it creates enthusiasm, and zeal comes along with that so that it has a chance to be made manifest in our world. Number 11, elimination. Elimination is our ability to release something that no longer serves us. Elimination helps us to release that thing that is limiting us. We have to recognize that it's limiting us and let it go. Often, if there's something good we want to create in our life, and it's not yet in our life, there may be a reason that it's not yet in our life. If we want good health, we might have to give up something to have that good health. If we want loving relationships, there might be something that we need to give up to have the loving relationships. Financial prosperity, there might be something that we need to give up to have that prosperity. We might actually have to give up eating junk food. We might have to give up gossiping about our friends. We might have to give up thinking we can just run out and spend money every time we get in a bad mood. Right? There are things we have to give up so that we can allow the good into our life, make space for that in our life. So elimination helps us to let go of the thing that is keeping our good from us. Because really what we want is this. We want the good that we're imagining. And once we can give up the thing keeping it from us, that good is in our life. And that will feel better, way better than having that thing that kept it from us. Okay? So we can use our imagination. We're imaging what it is we do want. We use all of our strength to take our focus off of all the difficulties and problems and focus our attention back onto our desire. Wisdom, it helps us to make choices that support that desire. And our power is about having mastery over everything that we do, so we know we can master this process eventually. Right? Eventually, we're going to master our thoughts. We will master our life. And all the good that we can imagine then can start making its way into our life. With our will, or divine will, with our divine will, We command that this is so. Let there be light. I now invite this light in, here and now. Good is mine. Love is mine. I am the activity of spirit in a body. And with faith, we know. We know it is done. We just know it. If we planted it with our imagination into divine mind, it's done. It's been created in the substance of all things. And with mastery over the 12 powers, it gets so much energy in the realm of divine that it has to be made manifest into our physical life. It has to. That is a law. That is a spiritual law. The 12th of the 12 powers is life. Life with a capital L, life force. This is our ability to energize and vitalize and enliven our body and our own life, to be whole and healthy in our body, our mind, our spirit. Charles Fillmore said that this is the purpose of the 12 powers. Okay, the 12 powers help us to course correct, get back onto our spiritual path. The vitality and well-being, they arise from a new consciousness that's created through the 12 powers. Vitality in our life, well-being in our life, they are an effect of our way of thinking. Because we think with a different consciousness when we are in alignment with the 12 powers. We have a different way of thinking. We see life as brighter. We see more opportunities. We live our life then with consciousness and intention, focused on our greatest good. Now, life is that energy that propels form into action. Life is what works through that tiny acorn. It activates the programming in the acorn to grow it into the mighty oak tree. Life activates all the divine programming within us, too. Okay, there's divine programming within us. So life works through us. Life with a capital L is constant and it is regenerative. It is the universal life impulse that many call God. So yet another quality of the source of all things. Another quality. And this is the force that directs our thoughts. And this is the force that our thoughts are directing. Okay, it's all things. This is the 12 powers. Now, our mission here at Unity is about this, that we're inspiring spiritual growth and purpose and belonging, because this is what helps us to live in divine order. We have a life in divine order. We get to express our divine nature. We see divine truth, live through divine truth, see the divine in others. That's what all of this does for us. We get to live our divine truth. So we are now creating heaven on earth. And we are not here to live in isolation. And we're really not here just for our own amusement. Though there's a lot about life that can be amusing and fun. But our spiritual path is about illumination and truth. Okay, our spiritual path is about doing all the good that we can do. Right? We can't do everything, but we can do what we can do. And if we can do what we can do together, like, we're doing a lot of good. We're doing a lot of good. Our spiritual path is guiding us toward all this good. It's opening the way for our greatest good. And it helps us to lead as an example for other people who may be struggling. Okay, when we're living our good, we're helping that goodness be available to other people. Because what is in one is in the whole. If one person is struggling, that struggle is in the whole. Like, because we're all connected. We are all the divine in all of its infinite expressions. What is in one is in the whole. The 12 powers help us to remember that we are not facing a struggle all by ourselves. Okay, it's not us. It is the activity of spirit working through us, for us, as us. There are no opposing forces. And it helps us remember that. Okay, we focus on the solutions. We don't focus on the challenges keeping us from health, love, and prosperity. We focus on health, love, and prosperity as being a divine truth. See, we are made to be grace generators. We are made to be love amplifiers so that we can call forth the grace that helps other people when they need it. We've all received a gift of grace from someone else too when we struggled. That feels really good. So we are grace generators, we are love amplifiers, so that we can rise together. That's how we rise together. That's our let there be light. That is creating heaven on earth. That is creating heaven on earth. So until next time, remember, you are the activity of spirit in a body. You are the heart and the hands of spirit in this world. You are a soul designed for growth and goodness. In everything you do, you are blessed. And so it is. Thank you.